All right, time to take a look at the Los Angeles Chargers. Used to be the San Diego Chargers and relocated to Los Angeles. A team that has been around, another team that's been around for a while. They were established on August 14th, 1959. They've been for 58 years. The first official season was in 1960. Now they play in the StubHub Center in Carson, California, and they're headquartered in Costa Mesa, California. They were a part of the AFL from 1960 to 69 and was in the Western Division from 1960 to 69. Merged to the National Football League since 1970. Have been in the AFC since 1970. Has been in the AFC West since 1970. Their team colors are navy blue, powder blue, white, and gold. The owner is Alex Spanos. The chairman is Dean Spanos. The general manager is Tom Telesco, and the head coach is Anthony Lynn. Los Angeles Chargers, well, they were there for 1960, and right now they have been Los Angeles Chargers. But San Diego Chargers, they were from 1961 to 2016. A nickname that they got is the Bolts. They've won one league championship. They've won one AFL championship in 1963. And they won a AFC Conference Championship in 1994, which led them to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they got demolished by the San Francisco 49ers, which were just a better team. They had a better staff, better players, everything. But it doesn't diminish their efforts on getting to a Super Bowl. They've won 15 division titles. In the AFL West, they won from 1960 all the way to 1965. And the AFC West, they won from 1979, 1981, then 1992, 1994, 2004, 2006 to 2009. They made the playoffs 18 times. In the AFL, 1960 to 65. In the NFL, 1979 all the way to 1982, 1992, 1994, 1995, 2004, 2006, 2009, and 2013. They have played in Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in 1960, moved to the Balboa Stadium from 1961 to 1966, went to the CDCCU Stadium from 1967 all the way to 2016, and now is in the StubHub Center with the projected possibility of having Los Angeles Stadium in 2020. So this is just a long history of the Chargers. They've had some fantastic players come through this franchise. They made some fantastic memories out there. They've had some fantastic wins. They just have not had a Super Bowl title for that area. So I know they all are dying for one. And, we'll see how it goes for them. I don't personally believe they will win it this year, but they might win it eventually. They do have some pretty good players right now, so we'll see. We're going to start with the current quarterback, and it is Phillip Rivers. He beats out Dan Fouts for sure. He's been unbelievable at the age of 36. He hasn't had an All-Pro. That's what happens when you play in the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady era. Even Big Ben, you're in that area. And you were in the same class as Eli Manning, which has won 2 Super Bowl rings. He's had a lot of misfortune of not getting as much fortune as the other guys, and he's been overlooked way too many times. But this is a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame when he retires, in my honest opinion. This is a guy that's racked up yards and yards and yards. This is a guy that's about to get 50,000 passing yards this year. This is a guy that has over 300 plus passing touchdowns. This is a guy that has 24 fourth quarter comebacks as well as 28 game-winning drives. This is a guy that has led this San Diego, Los Angeles team to 103 victories and has been to the playoffs. He's been to the AFC Championship. He's done his part. Has he gone to the Super Bowl? No, because he's always had some sort of obstacle. But this is the guy that I honestly, truly believe he's going to lead to some very, very great things. I hope he does get to a Super Bowl before he retires. If he doesn't, in my mind, he is pretty much a Hall of Famer. And he's done everything he can to be that. And he's a scary individual. He can pass the ball, and he's confident, and they need that. Now, there will be no fullback, but there will be one of the best running backs of all time, one of the most entertaining guys in the 2000s era, and a Hall of Famer that just got inducted in 2017, a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro, and he won the MVP. LaDainian Tomlinson, a.k.a. LT. the original? No, Lawrence Taylor is the original LT, but this is another LT guy. This is another LT-esque. He deserves to have that nickname for a reason because he dominated the NFL for so long. It's a guy that had 28 rushing touchdowns in a single season. That's never going to be, in my opinion, that's never going to be broken. That's not going to be broken. That's amazing. That's just a lot. That was a guy, and he didn't even get even 2,000 yards. But he was like 200 shy of that, or less than 100 shy of that. But this is a guy that accumulated over 13,000 rushing yards, over like specifically 145 rushing touchdowns, as well as the other side had 624 receptions for 4,772 receiving yards. It's a guy that's played in 170 games. It's a guy that's value is super up, and in my honest opinion, he is one of the best of all time. Top 10, yes, for sure, top 10. In his prime, you can't stop him. Just a fast guy, and like I said, he was an MVP in 2006. He was in the All 2000s team. He was a part of the All Rookie team. He's been a Walter Payton Man of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. He's a nice fellow. He's just an awesome individual that's got a lot of talent and can run, and that's scary. So having a run game with LT, that's phenomenal. No fullbacks, so what that means is a 3 wide receiver set. You're going to start with Lance Allworth. He could be your star receiver, or or whatnot. But yeah, this is Lance Allworth, Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. Just a phenomenal receiver for his time. He was ahead of his time, honestly. And the fact that he played all 9 years, or he played 11 years, but he played all 9 years there in San Diego, 2 years in Dallas. Those 2 Dallas, he was okay, not the best, but this is a guy that can dominate at will. I'd say definitely his best season was like 73 receptions, 1,383 receiving yards, along with 13 receiving touchdowns. This is a guy that averaged 74.9 yards a game, like receiving yards a game, and has about 85 receiving touchdowns and 542 career receptions. So yes, this is a guy that played in the 60s, 70s. Again, statistics were, they didn't come that easily. So it was a different time. It was definitely a different time. It was definitely a different type of football. So, and this guy is tough as they come. So honestly, having Lance Allworth in there as part of your receiving core, Philip Rivers has to be happy. All right, the other receiver is going to be Charlie Joiner. Charlie Joiner is another Hall of Fame receiver, a 3-time Pro Bowler, 1 time being an All-Pro, a guy that played for San Diego for 11 years. He also played for Cincy and Houston for 4 years individually. But this is a man that, in his time, he was rocking it, man. He could rock with the best of them. A guy that his best year was about 72 receptions. But this is a guy that, like I said, played in the 60s all the way to the late 80s. This is a guy that was just all over. Like, he played till he was 39. He was a fantastic route runner, and he made everyone look good. And the fact that he played with Lance Allworth, they have the same connection. I know darn well that they both will love playing with each other. And Charlie Joiner, like I said, he is one of those guys that really turned kind of like that whole team around out there in that San Diego land over there, Like, Kellen Winslow was a big deal. Charlie Joiner was another big deal. Like, you were in trouble with Kellen Winslow, you just passed it to Charlie Joiner. Like, honestly, Charlie Joiner was one of those guys that he was kind of like your cushion. He was the guy that you can throw to at any time, and it wouldn't matter. And, I think, in my honest opinion, yes, Charlie Joiner, underrated. People don't really know much about him, and they should. Just an overall fantastic player. Okay, so I tricked you, right? I did. I'm not doing a 3 wide receiver set. I didn't want to get criticized that early, and you guys just completely will destroy my idea of it. So I'd rather you guys watch throughout, see. And now you guys can leave if you really, truly don't agree with me. I'm going to have 2 receivers and 2 tight ends, because what this organization has done fantastically is have consistent Hall of Fame tight ends. And that includes Kellen Winslow and Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates is my first tight end on the left side, right side, wherever you want to go. they're both receiver-esque kind of guys. So it's fantastic to have two tight ends. Like, can you imagine having two tight ends in a team? That's incredible. Well, first of all, here's the thing. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 3-time All-Pro. Antonio Gates is a Hall of Famer. Yes, he is. A guy that's had, well, right now, currently 916 receptions. In my opinion, if he continues to play, I can see him getting 1,000, maybe. You never know. He's kind of slowing down, so we don't know about that. But this is a guy that's had over 11,000 receiving yards. This is a guy that's had over 100 receiving touchdowns. This is a guy that's value has been fantastic because, well, let's be honest here. He's been Philip Rivers' cushion for a very, very long time. And a very big success is Antonio Gates, Philip Rivers, and LT. Together, they were phenomenal. So, phenomenal together. They're going to be phenomenal again. He's a part of that all 2000s team. He's been listed as that to some like the Pro Football Hall of Fame or the Pro Football Reference. You know, some websites have definitely named of that. I don't know if that counts for anything, but in my opinion, yes, he does belong to be on a list of possibility of being a guy that's been one of the best in a decade. I definitely think he's done it consistently. He's done a great job with it. And like I said, I think Antonio Gates will fit super well. Now, Kellen Winslow is going to be the second tight end. So you got two big tight ends that are receiver-esque guys. First of all, it's fantastic. Now, he's a Hall of Famer. Kellen Winslow is a Hall of Famer. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, played for San Diego his entire career, just 9 years there, but he accumulated 500-plus receptions, 6,000-plus receiving yards, 45 receiving touchdowns. He had one of the best games. I remember it was like the longest game. I think it was Cincinnati or Miami and San Diego there. It was a long football game, and he was exhausted. You saw when he was getting carried because he was just exhausted. That's what he is. He's a fighter. He's going to play until the whistle blows, until the game is all over. He's going to continue to play because he is a football player. He's a guy that loves the sport, and to have passion along with skill, that's scary. So, you know, having Gates on one side, Wins on the other side, that's scary. All right, left tackle to start the offensive line is Rush Washington, 5-time Pro Bowler, a guy that's played all of his entire career in San Diego, from the age of 22 to the age of 36. Started in 196 games out of 200. His value is super duper high. So not much else I can say about him other than yes, he's reliable and he's a big man. All right, left guard, Doug Wilkerson. His nickname, Baby Huey, a guard, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. A guy that started in Houston 1 year and then all 14, the rest of him, well, he was a part of that San Diego team. Just an overall fantastic guy that barely missed games. He played in 195 out of 204. That's how much he started. And it's unreal. Like I said, very reliable guys that I got on this line that I'm seeing from this organization. So, Doug Wilkerson, yeah, he's going to fit fine. All right, now the center is going to be Nick Hardwick. Nick Hardwick played from 2004 to 2014. He only went to one Pro Bowl, but a big center for sure. And he was actually pretty reliable to Philip. They have a connection, of course. They played together. So that's pretty good to have that chemistry between center and quarterback. If you guys don't believe it, it honestly is really, really important to have a good connection with your offensive line, where you stand on your plays, along with what they are wanting to do and how they want to block, that kind of thing. When you want to hike it, you know, center QB connection. I think Nick Hardwick and Philip Rivers pair together. It's fantastic. He's reliable. So yeah, not much else to say, especially negatively. No. All right, the right guard is going to be Walt Sweeney. Walt Sweeney is a 9-time Pro Bowler. He's a 2-time All-Pro. He's a guy that got drafted in 1963 in the AFL, first round, second overall. And, well, let's be honest here. He played in 11 years with San Diego, only started 56 times out of 154 times. His approximate value, though, to that San Diego organization is pretty high in terms of where I saw it. Again, he probably isn't the best right guard that I possibly had. Maybe I made a mistake. He was definitely named the AFL Hall of Fame second team All 1960s team. And like I said, he's been a Pro Bowler. He's been a 2-time All-Pro. Honestly, I'm just looking at what I think is, honestly, I think he'll do fine. I really do. He's a tough guy. He's a big dude. He played in the 60s, 70s with tough-nose era of football, of course. overall, I think this line will be pretty fine, even with having him there. They're all tough, so I think it's going to be a pretty meaty line, pretty hard line to get past through. All right, right tackle. It's going to be Ron Mix. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Fame tackle. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 9-time All-Pro. He played for the Oakland Raiders 1 year. The rest of the year, 10 years. From 1960, when LA started their first, when the Chargers started their organization, and moved to San Diego. Now, obviously, back again in LA. But this is a guy that played for 10 years in San Diego. He started many games. He was reliable. Again, it's kind of a bummer because you don't know statistic-wise, but he's been named to the All 1960s team. He's Hall of Fame right tackle is all you need to know. Is that Ron Mix is going to do fine with Russ Washington, and this line is going to do, well, pretty outstanding, I believe.